Hello, everybody. Welcome back to an all-new episode of The Chasen Show. I'm here with Dave Misiura from Lox Hair Wax Co., one of our sponsors here on the show. But before we get into the episode, real quick, I want to mention that we have the merch store up and running on Teespring. So if you guys go check that out, that link will be in the bio here. It will be in the bio on Instagram. But with that, guys, let's get right into the episode. How's it going, Dave?
Hey, what's up, Seth? Thanks for having me. Been looking forward to this for a while now, since we scheduled this.
It's a pleasure. I'm excited to get this started. So for those of you who don't know, he is the founder and creator, owner, whatever you want to call it, of Lox. Those of you who don't know what Lox is, they make hair products, fantastic hair products, smells amazing. I'm actually wearing it now. They make fantastic clothing. They make tattoo. Is it save or is it salve? I don't know.
Salve, yeah, salve. Yeah, it's a couple of different pronunciations.
I don't know why it's so hard to pronounce that. I guess it's because it's spelled so oddly. But check them out. Their link for the website will be in the. I'll put it in the bio of the podcast on Spotify, on wherever you listen to the podcast. So, So I want to get right into it with the hard-hitting questions. What inspired you to create Lox as a company?
My friends and family inspired me. And I don't mean that as a cliche. That's just literally how that happened. I was making all-natural hair pomade for personal use only and had no intentions of starting a business, but I ended up giving away my hair pomade to friends and family, and they came back to me rather quickly asking for more. And then also they were just like, dude, this stuff is really good. You got to sell it. So before that, I had no intentions of selling it or creating a business at all. That's how it started. So they suggested it. I thought about it, and then I ran with it.
So one, you mentioned, and also if you guys hear the advert in the podcast later on, it's made of all natural products. How do you, if you don't want to give away your secret recipe, that's fine, but how do you go about like creating the scents and creating the product itself?
Well, everything's handmade with all natural ingredients. So the how is kind of just getting right into the workshop and just mixing a bunch of stuff together. Now, the recipes kind of come with time and experience, otherwise known in the industry as research and development, or R&D. So, I mean, everything we do in-house, we've done it several ways incorrectly first. So by the time we put a label on it and put it on our website for sale, we've done it the wrong way several times before that. So, the process is a little tedious sometimes. And each product that we come out with kind of builds upon itself from previous products. So, the first time I made the hair pomade, it took me many tries until I got the recipe and formula that was really good. Now, obviously, from there, any and every variation of that pomade was a little bit easier because I had already established a good product. I keep good notes, so I know, as I can refer back to my notes as what works, what doesn't work, and then of course, I in the more recent Lox years, I have a brew team that helps me too with that. So time, experience, just getting in there, finding out ways not to do it.
So all trial by error. So
yes.
When you first created, how long ago was that? And how long have you been crafting and modeling the product and the products that are Lox?
Yeah. Let's see. March of 2021 will be our 5-year anniversary, which is pretty wild. Almost 5 years now. It's pretty crazy. I started with one product when we launched Lox Hair Wax Company, And right now we've got, over 25 products, which is phenomenal. It's great. It's wild when I stop and think about it, but yeah, it's really cool.
So you've got a whole bunch of like clothing on the store. What got you to that, have inspiration to do the clothing and, the hats and all that stuff? Was it just, the same stuff from like trial by error, or?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Actually, I have some more insight on that coming, but I can't I'm not at liberty to discuss that in detail yet. Maybe off radio or off the air. But no. So when I started Lox Hair Wax Company, it was, of course, with one product. We had Battle Wax, our original hair and beard pomade. And then as I grew the products and grew the brand, I realized that, I didn't really just want to sell grooming products, even though that is primarily what we've been doing for years and why we're so successful. But I also realized, though, that I should put it this way. I realized that it's more than just hair grooming products. Lox is a brand and a lifestyle. So I knew that as I was creating that and the customer base that was being attracted to my business and company, I realized that I had a lot more going on than just, something that people put in their hair, in their beard, or on their tattoos and their skin. And that was really cool and exciting. And so I took that inspiration, if you will, and I kind of just, we just hit the gas pedal with that. We were just, me along with my team, we're just saying, what we have here is something really cool and unique. We're more than just grooming. We are, we're a brand, and that's really cool. And I think our competitors out there, what you see a lot of is just grooming companies, and you don't really have a good brand behind it. And to be honest with you, most of the time you don't even have good products behind it. So I think that's partially what makes Lox Hair Wax Company so unique, so special, and quite frankly so successful, is that we are more than just grooming, and we're more than just really good grooming at that. We do create a brand and a lifestyle, and yeah, so.
And so I'm not just saying this because, you're here and because you guys are a sponsor, but these shirts are like very comfortable. What kind of material do you guys use? Is it cotton? Is it, because it does feel like cotton?
Yeah, it's cotton, soft spun, I think ring spun cotton. We've actually chose several different shirts. So depending on the style you get from our website will depend on, I guess, the material blend of what you're going to get. We got, like the athletic fits, and we have some more loose fitting stuff. So it does kind of vary depending on the t-shirt. But we like the variety, when we're choosing apparel, we're not going out choosing the cheapest thing or the least expensive thing. We're out there for comfort. We want, obviously, style and comfort is important to us too. So, yeah.
And so when you go about designing the shirts, how do you go through that process?
Yeah, that's a great question too. I think we're similar to what a lot of other companies do, and I don't have a lot of experience with the inside of operations of other apparel companies or grooming companies. And I say that because Lox is both. We're a grooming and apparel company at this point, which is really cool. But I think for us, whenever we do sit down and we throw around ideas and we decide on projects and whatnot, it's really cool. What I appreciate from my team is the different perspectives that we have. So we have, obviously, I'm a veteran, but we have some non-vets on the team as well. We've got, my wife, we've got other team members' wives. We sometimes, reach out to them for their opinions too. So we get different perspectives, and we put it all on the table, and we kind of sift through what jumps at us, what we don't like, or maybe what we kind of like, but we'd like it better if we did this way. So when we do a project, there's a lot more to it than just, hey, let's throw this on a t-shirt, or hey, let's throw this on a grooming product label and see if it sticks, So yeah, we do put a lot of thought, a lot of time and energy and focus into each project. And then, but you know what? When we do it that way, even though it does take more to put into it, we get a lot more return out of it, I feel. So I think our customer base really appreciates and really understands that what we're doing is, intentional, and that's important, because if it wasn't intentional, I think it would show in our lack of desire or apathy, if you will. But I think our customer base really trusts us. They really know us by now, that everything we do is intentional. We pay attention to detail, which a lot of companies don't do. I mean, I'm a detailed person. That's the creative aspect in my personality, I suppose. Otherwise known as OCD. But I like to call it paying attention to detail. But yeah, it's it's just really cool. Sometimes I'll see something or my team will present something, and I'll like fuss over the smallest little thing, and my team will be like, "Dude, really?" They're like, that matters, like, that does not matter at all. And I'm like, but it matters. It matters, So, but it's pretty cool. So at a fault, sometimes my attention to detail does get in the way and sometimes slows down projects. But I think overall, when it's all said and done, the efforts that are involved really pay off, and I think our customer base really appreciates that.
And what went behind the logo? So you tend to have the logo on almost every shirt. I know there are a couple variations, but what made you create that logo and choose that specific logo? And for those of you who don't know, it is like it's a skull it looks like a Viking with a I can't tell if it's a hacksaw or axe. An axe?
Yeah, it's technically it's a bearded axe, but yeah, that's a Viking weapon. But yeah, you're spot on with that. Actually, quote unquote, a well-groomed skull, or a well-groomed Viking skull, I think was the quote from the first news article that was put out when I opened a business, which was pretty cool. The Scranton Times did a little tribute, little article for us, which was really neat. But yeah, so that's part of what makes us unique, as well as our branding. When I entered the grooming market, I didn't want to just be another lumberjack, run-of-the-mill, really cheesy brand of, just grooming, which at the time, 5 years ago, and I think we still see a lot of that today now too, is just, a very generic branding. And actually I've seen a lot of bearded skulls out there on competitors' branding as well. And so when I chose this direction, I knew I needed to do it 100 times better than everyone else. And so, the artwork that we designed was all done in-house, and it's all original. So there was no I didn't purchase anything off of clip art or I didn't do anything on the old Google search. Everything was done by an artist in-house, layers after layers of editing and changing this, changing that, and input. Hey, what do you think about this? No, let's change this, move the location to this, let's make this larger. Okay, I like that. Let's get rid of this. So there's a lot went into that as well. So yeah, it's just really cool, really fun. That is our primary logo, of course. But then we throw that on all of our T-shirts on the sleeve print around the spade. We call it the Loxman spade. But yeah, it's pretty cool branding. again, I think that's what makes us unique and sets us apart from the other guys.
So, how many variations of the original logo and the primary logo did you go through until you came to this design?
Oh, yeah. Well, if my graphic designer was sitting here, he'd be laughing right now, because we actually went through quite a few, and that was at the point where I didn't understand the amount of time and work that it went into making some of these changes. And so, actually, I'd have to pull it up in my records here, because I saved a lot of that stuff. But we actually went through. We were close to finalizing a logo, and I came back to my artist and I was like, I think this is really cool, but like, what if we change the direction of the guy's skull, you know? And he looked at me and he's like, it was pretty comical, because he was like, this. He's like, you should have brought this up, like, how many months ago. But anyway, he obviously, we all laughed it off, and he went back to the drawing boards, and we got it right. And so, yeah, so it went through a painstaking process, several edits, several different renditions. But yeah.
So this is a two-parter. How long did you think, do you estimate that it took to come up with the final logo? And would you ever throw one of those like original logos onto a shirt?
Yeah. So, I mean, to answer your first question, the first part of the question, I mean, countless hours in the studio, I'm sure. Yeah, and then not to mention that, between the time we take between edits too, because I don't, I have respect for my graphic design team. So whenever they shoot me an edit, I typically, sometimes it's blatantly there in front of me, but most of the time I'll look at it and digest it, and I'll take time. So that could be days, that could be a week or two. I like to digest it and then go back to them with edits, because they spend a lot of time making those edits. So if I were to look at it and just give them what I thought initially right off the bat, it might not. I don't think that would be fair to them. Now, obviously, sometimes I'll have exactly what I want in mind, and if it's not that, then I'll tell them that right away. But yeah, so between edits, actual edits, between digesting it and time between edits, the original logo took us months to nail down to where we finalized it. And then, I mean, artwork. The artwork is really that's such a crucial part to our company, and to our brand, I should say, is, all the artwork, which is hand drawn. It's done in layers, like I said, countless hours in the studio, different color options, different this, that, and the other thing, fonts and hairstyles, beard style, whatever have you, skull style. So like different renditions. And I've actually been putting together some things I think I'm going to do probably when I start up the YouTube channel, do it the right way with weekly releases and stuff. I'd like to do like a kind of, how did I get to this artwork?
That's me. And how did I get here? Like something like that you're talking about?
Yeah, something like that. More specifically, so take like our Peak Coat Polish, for example, which is one of our styling creams, which is the Navy edition. So we have a Tour of Duty styling cream collection set, and we have a styling cream, which is good for hair and beard. We have one for each that represents each part of the major branches of service. So we have the Navy edition, which is the Peak Coat Polish. And so there's some really, really cool details in that. As a matter of fact, my grandfather was in the Navy, and he was in the Navy during the Korean War. But if you look at the label, you'll notice that there's a ship in the background with the whole number 144 on it, which was actually the USS Worcester, which was I think it was a battle cruise ship that my grandfather served on. So that was really cool. So that was really cool. It was kind of like a head nod to my grandfather. His actual specific ship is on the label. Also, the rank, the Navy rank there, or rate, he was a machinist mate. That's on the label too. So to any Navy personnel, they'll be able to identify that. And to anyone who just admires, the military, they're gonna look at that and say that's really cool design. But the details in it are just, there's some really cool hidden things in there. So yeah, so each one has something in there that's a detailed head nod to something or someone specific, which is really cool.
And a lot of times when you're selling product, the artwork makes or a lot of times makes or break the product. Would you say that is a vital factor in when you are making the packages and making the like the containers for the pomade and all that stuff? Would you say that that's a big factor?
I missed the first part. What's the factor?
The colors and the just like color scheme, the making it look good. Would you say that?
Oh yeah, definitely. These products, when they're on a physical shelf, for instance, for all of our wholesalers, they're definitely impulse purchase items. You look at this. I mean, and I'm looking at this from the owner's perspective, but whenever I design something, I always look at it from a consumer perspective too. And obviously I'm crazy about all this stuff that I do, but if I were to look at any one of my items walking down an aisle in the store or sitting on a shelf in my barber shop, I would look at that and I would not be walking out of the store without it. So, and they're definitely eye-catching. They're definitely intentionally designed to attract attention, which is another part of our branding too. Like I said, we have when I entered the market of grooming, you have all these run-of-the-mill grooming companies out there who put very little effort into their branding, and it's very weak branding. And not all of them. There's some pretty cool brands out there that do what we do. Not as good as what we do, but they're out there. There's definitely solid competitors out there, but for the most part, that was something that I wanted to avoid. That's like the run-of-the-mill, weak branding, and so every design was intentionally designed, from our logo to each product. So, yeah, definitely intentional.
What would you say your favorite item is in the line of pomade or the beard balm, or what would you say your favorite product is and why?
Dude, that is tough. That's put me on the spot. I have actually been asked that, and you think I have an answer right now, and it probably changes every time I get asked it. But yeah, man, tough, dude. That's tough. I don't know if I'd have a favorite. I mean, being an Air Force guy, I'd say that Sky High Slick is my favorite, but being close to my grandfather, I'd say the Pico Polish has a special place in my heart, especially because of the design that went behind it in honor of him. Battle Wax is the original. So, I mean, that's an awesome.
And that's what started it all.
That's what started it all. So that's got a special place in my heart too. So yeah, it's tough, man, because I feel like every month, me and my brew team are working on something new and special, and the newest thing quickly becomes my new favorite. So, which, by the way, this Thursday, tomorrow. So by the time you release this episode, it'll be out. But the latest product is a beard butter, which is that stuff is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Now, I have a very thin beard, short beard, which it's good for all beard shapes, sizes, and styles. But I use it as a body moisturizer as well as a hair conditioner. But the beard butter is our newest product. It's super, super cool, as in that it's very unique. It contains zero beeswax. So if you have one of our styling creams, think of that, but softer. But it's you can't really picture it. You know what? It's best compared to is Cool Whip. As weird as that sounds, it's like Cool Whip in a jar. It's just incredible.
But don't eat it.
Don't eat it. And it smells so good, you might want to, but you definitely don't. I want to go swimming in it, but I can't find a pool big enough to put the stuff in. So, but yeah, so that's cool. That's my new favorite. If I had to pick one right now, but yeah.
I mean, because with me, I've got I shaved the goatee. This is probably about a couple days without shaving on the sides here, but I was doing it for the memes originally. But then I'm like, you know what? This actually looks good, because I do enjoy having facial hair. I did have a bigger, the longest beard that I had was in freshman year of college. I was away at school. It was around winter break, and I had my hair, my front of my hair was dyed too, because my cross country team won our was it division? I think it was division or conference race. And I'm like, before the race, I'm like, guys, look, if we win this race, I have to dye my hair. And so I dyed it blonde, and my parents called me Leprechaun because I had the beard and I had the blonde-ish hair that kind of made it red. My parents call me Amish all the time because I have the very thin, like pube-looking beard when I'm growing it out. And I've been working. It's definitely getting thicker, but it's just a difficult process to grow the beard.
Yeah.
And for those of you out there, I'm going to ask him a question that will benefit you. What would you say the best way to grow a beard is? Because obviously, because you run a grooming company for both men and women. What do you think the best route is when someone's trying to grow a beard?
Well, first thing I always say is patience, because I am like a lot of guys where I can't grow a nice beard overnight. So I have to go through the whole, patchy phase. And then honestly, for me to grow a decent, thick, nice, full beard, it takes me minimum 2 months. So minimum 8 weeks. And once I hit that 8-week mark, it starts filling in real nice. And then, it's good to go from there. But yeah, you have to have patience. You can't expect to grow a nice beard overnight. And if you can, you are blessed, and you should be thankful for that. Also, just the all natural ingredients in our products, especially, will help with that. They're going to give your hair and your skin the nutrients it needs. And then combing and brushing, as kind of weird as that sounds, but yeah, that stimulates hair growth. So that, all that combined will produce, that'll produce a good beard for sure.
So we are actually coming up on the 30-minute mark. So typically where our ads lie. So we'll be back after this short commercial break.
Cool.
Lox Hair Wax Company is an American company that is veteran-owned and operated. Lox makes all-natural grooming products that are handmade small batches to ensure top-quality control. These products consist of hair pomade, beard balms, and oils, aftershave balm, even tattoo salve, and they have much more as well. Lox Hair Wax Company is for the sharp savage with a warrior ethos, a never-quit spirit, and a cool hand attitude. Besides grooming products, they also offer a wide variety of apparel and accessories that embrace the American fighting spirit. If you too value what it takes and what it means to love this country, remember its roots, fight for it, work hard, and look sharp doing it, then head over to www.loxpomade.com and join the Lox train. Also, if you use code PRESSBOX10 at the end of your order, then you will save 10% off your entire order. Stay sharp and stay savage. Hey guys, so before we get into this episode, I would like to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, NIST, K-N-I-S-T. They are an awesome slingshot company that I've been partnered with for quite some time, and they have opened up shop on their updated website at knist.online. I'm pretty sure you all know how to spell online, so I'm not going to spell that. So they sell slingshots, steel balls, and band sets. They just came out with a new slingshot called the Maverick. Their original slingshot, the original NIST slingshot, is about $6.99 on their website. And they've got the band sets for $4.99. And they've also got a pack of steel balls for $8.99. So please go check them out. They're a great company, and they have some amazing slingshots. So take my word for it and go check them out. So with that being said, guys, go check them out now. The Quit Bitchin' Coalition is a lifestyle brand for those who live their life on their own terms. Mavericks that don't quit. Don't give in. Ever. They are more than a clothing brand. They strive to help people in all facets of life. They believe in the saying, quote, do good while doing good, end quote. The Quit Bitching Coalition seeks to motivate people while providing badass, fashionable apparel. And as they like to say, fashion with an attitude. We are made for Mavericks. Guys, please head over to their website. It is www.quitbitchingcoalition.com. Use code PRESSBOX for 10% off your entire order on the website. So go on over and check them out and support their business. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the show. Hello, everybody. We are back from commercial break. Now we're going to talk directly about Lox's new items coming tomorrow. If you guys are hearing this on Wednesday when we're recording, it'll be tomorrow. But if you're hearing it on Thursday, then it'll be today for you guys. So talk about what kind of products you guys are selling for this new line and what was the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of things coming out tomorrow, or you're listening to this right now. It's available now. So I think the coolest thing that we have is the beard butter, which is a brand new grooming product for our line. Something we've never done before. Something I've been looking into for a while, based on what our competitors are doing and based on what our customers have been requesting. So the beard butter is just super cool. It's super, 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 super soft. There's zero beeswax in it. We actually whip it. And so it's just really great. And it's a universal product too, because it's marketed towards obviously men's with beards, but I use it as a body moisturizer, skin conditioner, hair conditioner rather. And so it's just a really great multi-purpose product. I'm super excited about releasing and getting people feedback from them. And then let's see, what else do we have? We have a beard balm as well. It's going to be available. That's going to be added to our existing beard balm line, and it's going to stay in. In line with the American Civil War themed, which is really cool. It's actually a tribute to the original sniper, the sharpshooters. So there's some really cool historic head nod with that artwork. And the flavor, or the scents, is green apple, red oak, and golden amber, and all blended together. It smells really, really good. We actually took several attempts at getting that blended just right, so I'm really excited about getting feedback on that as well. It's definitely going to be a new favorite for our bearded guys out there. So 2 beard products, and then of course one of those being a multiple use product. We also have a limited edition graphic T-shirt accompanying that. That's really cool too. It's got a Miami Vice vibe going on, all the 80s colors, really popping. So that's pretty cool. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we partnered with a local woodworker. She's from the area. I actually went to school with her, and now she is doing her own thing with woodwork, which is really, really cool. So she actually presented the idea to me, and she was like, "Hey, what about if you guys thought about Christmas tree ornaments?" And I was like, that's not a bad idea. And she's like, let me show you what I got. So she actually made a couple, and when I saw them, I was like, yes, we have to have them. So they're basically the Locksman spade. There's 2 different colors. I think one's black and one's white, and they both have the gold trim on it. But they're handcrafted wooden Christmas tree ornaments. Those are available now as well. They're super cool. They make great gifts too. And I think if you get them both, you save a couple of bucks. So yeah, pick up all that stuff. It's all available now. Really excited to hear some feedback on the 2 new grooming products, of course. As a lot of research and development went into those items. But yeah, so those are all available now. Super excited about that.
And guys, for those of you listening, use code PRESSBOX10 to get 10% off your order.
Use that code.
Do it. It's quality product. I'm not just saying that, but it really is quality product, and I really enjoy the clothing. As I think I mentioned earlier, the clothing, the hair gel or the pomade, is really, really quality. It's Not even, it's not water based. And again, to that decision, what is the difference, the big difference in making the product against water based versus dry natural products?
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, that's like comparing ketchup to A1 sauce, but the water-based hair gels are just cheaply made as well, and they're very cheaply cost too. So if you're paying, I know there's a lot of our competitors out there offer mainly water-based water soluble hair gels, and I mean, honestly, you're paying way too much for it because of it's made so cheaply, and the value's not even there because it's terrible for your hair and your skin. And
I have actually noticed that, and I can attest to that. I used to use that all the time. I would get acne really bad. I still do have a little bit of acne, but that's partly because of work. But like it definitely made my hair so much thinner when I was using I have like a couple different hair gels, and I don't use them anymore because it just made my hair really thin.
Yeah. No, no, that's I mean, it's spot on. The water-based, water-soluble hair gels, their ingredients are usually or not usually, they're synthetic ingredients. They're fake. It's fake stuff, and it's just chemicals and alcohol usually are in those products. They're terrible for your hair and your skin. And actually, that's going back to how I started this company. That's actually why I started this company, is because I got tired of using the water-based hair gels, and they're just a bunch of posers because they call them pomades, and they're I guess by definition pomade is really anything you style your hair with, but they were hair gels. They're just masquerading around as this high quality good stuff for your hair, and this bunch of baloney. So I got tired of using those, and I just made it. I needed an alternative, and that's how I started Lox. And so the difference is the quality of ingredients. That's the biggest difference. So with our products, using all natural ingredients, beeswax, shea butter, mango butter, coconut oil, sweet almond oil, different kinds of oils. Not only will your hair be styled, but it's going to last all day long, and you're going to need less product, and it's going to be great for your hair, your skin, and your scalp. So I testify to this. I have not used hair conditioner in 5 years. So our company is approaching our 5-year anniversary, and I have not used hair conditioner in 5 years because my hair is conditioned all day long when I'm using my products. Obviously, I use shampoo to strip those products out and then restart, but I have not touched hair conditioner in 5 years, and my hair is thick and healthy, and zero dandruff. It's just it's whatever. It's just in my skin the same way. It's not dried out at all. So that's that's a benefit of using our products. And again, the amount you use, I remember using the hair gels. You need to scoop out a whole glob of it or whatever, and you're going through, tin after tin, tub after tub, and then by the end of the day, your hair is crunchy, it's hard, and it's out of place. And if you try and restyle, you can't, because the more you touch your hair, the more wild it gets.
Yeah.
And so there's those things going on for your cheap hair gel, and then the exact opposite for our products. You only need a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. You can restyle your hair. In fact, the more you play with your hair, the softer it gets. It feels, and it's just and it lasts all day long. It smells great. It's good for everything. So it's really got a great product in Lox, and I'm proud of it, of what we make. I stand by what we make. And yeah, that's.
And before we segue into another segment, what was behind the name Lox? Because I know we talked about the logo, but now what is the name behind it?
Yeah, so Lox, think locks of hair, but it's just spelled differently. Also, when I was dating Goldilocks, now we're married, of course, but when we were dating, she had very long blonde hair, and so I nicknamed her Goldilocks, and I just, I guess the name kind of has multiple meanings to it. So kind of like locks of hair and a little tribute to my wife, Goldilocks. So LOX has, a couple meanings, but that's
and
the story.
It's a very good choice for a, hair styling brand for, your hair and stuff. And that's one thing that helps promote. It just makes sense, because you hear a lot of these companies today, Garnier, what the hell's Garnier? Like, like none of these companies make sense. But to that point, about, how it's easy to remember, it's easy to know. You guys tend to promote your products by taking a lot of pictures, and so I'm going to ask you a couple questions in this segment. First question being, how do you guys choose a location, and why is it so significant to the product?
Yes. So with the stage photos and with the locations of the photos that we do, definitely has to do with the style of the theme or style of the product that we're promoting. So, for the D-Day Dapper and the Leatherneck Luster, for example, being Army and Marine Corps tributary products, I use sand. So, think of the D-Day invasions, the Normandy invasions, all the beach landings that the Marines did in World War II. So that kind of gives it that more feel, that more vibe for that product, for those products. Same thing with the Sky High Slick. I have a bunch of books on aircraft, pictures of airplanes, some World War II American, I call it propaganda, but it's the buy the war bonds and things of that nature that have to do with the aircraft and the Air Force or the Army Air Corps at that time. So I put a lot of thought into what goes into the backdrops and what goes into the props. As I mentioned before, I think in the first segment, my wife and I, we used to go antiquing all the time. So I have quite a cool collection of different military memorabilia and barber memorabilia and things of that nature. So the stage photos come out really cool. Super, super excited about that. Love that part about my job. I actually take quite a few of those. I'm responsible for a lot of them. I'm not going to say all of them, because my wife definitely has some photography skill as well, so she helps with that. And we also get some local photographers that join us and team up with us as well for some of these photo shoots too. So yeah, it just depends on the product. Will depend on the props and the location that we shoot at.
And what is your favorite area to shoot at? And because you got a lot of locations that you shoot, what would you say your favorite one is?
Yeah, I'd say my favorite spot is probably the train tracks, down by the train tracks. I live, in the country-ish, so woods and fields and forests and all that good stuff are at my fingertips. So I have access to that. So really cool landscapes and backdrops. But I also live really close to town here, Honesdale, which is a huge historic town. It's not a huge town by any means. It's a very, very, very small town, but it's historically speaking, it's pretty cool. It's got some unique stories to it. In fact, I believe, Walking in a Winter Wonderland was written in Honesdale at the Honesdale Park.
I think I do know. Really cool. I think I did, because I did take film class in senior year of high school, and I think we did talk about that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, and then, so we got train tracks there. We've got old buildings. I think one of the banks in town has like a cornerstone of like 18 something on it. So it's just brick buildings, really, really cool vibe. So it's just a lot of opportunities for some really cool photo shoots. Excuse me.
So, you mentioned earlier that, you're a veteran, and you mentioned that you were also Air Force. What is your general consensus of the main branches of military? I'm not gonna say the three, but the main branches of military, and how
right.
How does your bias make you look at the other ones? If that question makes sense.
That's pretty funny. Any veteran will obviously we bash each other's branches and whatnot, but which is always fun. But yeah, no, my experience with the Air Force has overall been very good. Originally, actually in high school, I was talking to a Navy recruiter, so that was a very real possibility. My father quickly talked me out of that, and then after high school, I actually signed up with the Army National Guard. Did the whole process, went down to MEPS, signed my contract, was getting ready to go to boot camp, and then I realized that my recruiter had lied to me about every single thing in my contract, including my job. So I actually had to get a congressman involved, got out of that contract. I had signed up originally wanting to do mortarman and or just general grunt, be a carrier rifle, However, being colorblind did not allow me to do those things. So my recruiter had me sign a contract that, as a young adult, I was too ignorant to read over before I signed it. I just trusted him at his word, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is everything you want." And I was like, "Cool." But then after reading it, I discovered that I was actually going to be sitting behind a desk as a clerk typist. So I was like, "No way am I doing that." So I got out of that, and then ultimately finally ended up joining the United States Air Force, which my father is a U.S. Air Force veteran as well, so he was happy to hear that. He was pushing me in that direction for a while. So yeah, I've been in the Air Force for 14 years. The Air Force Reserve, I have 4 deployments under my belt, looking to continue down to hit the 20-year mark at least, and so I'm looking to do that. But yeah, overall, I'd say the Air Force is treated me very well. Of course, I have had my issues with the military, as any service member will tell you. We have our issues and our fights and whatnot that we go through. But yeah, overall, great experience serving our country for sure.
And so, with Air Force or with any military branch for that matter, you go see a lot of places. You go do a lot of cool things. Where was the coolest place that you have been to?
That's tough to answer. One spot. Definitely Hawaii was awesome for sure. Did a 2-week training out there. Yeah, wow. That was a really cool place, really beautiful, high cost of living, but just a really cool experience there. Been to Europe, been up and down the East Coast. I've been in the Middle East, of course. So I've been around a lot. Been to a lot of places, and yeah, I don't know. Hawaii was nice. Charleston is also another wonderful place to be. So it's hard to pinpoint one.
So you mentioned you've been to Europe. What have you? So you mentioned Germany. What was your favorite thing about Europe? And do you have any general tales that you have about Europe? Because Europe is obviously a very history-rich area.
Yeah. Yes, obviously, for sure. Man, so I did several training scenarios out there in Germany, specifically with Ramstein Air Force Base, and each time was a different experience. But I remember one time going there, and we had a weekend pass, weekend liberty there. We went out, and we actually traveled to several different countries in Europe there, which was really cool. And we did a lot in the weekend, especially considering the Autobahn and no speed limit there. So we visited quite a few countries there. Just overall, beautiful, beautiful country. All of them. Just the scenery is amazing. It's really cool. There's castles and there's mountains and forests, and it's really beautiful. And then, of course, the history there is just incredible.
And so, what was your favorite historical piece that you might have come across, or that you saw in Europe?
Oh man, yeah. Well, where I was not able to, logistically speaking, get out to where I really wanted to go, which was see the Normandy invasions. Would love to do that, of course. But I think the coolest place we went to, and I mean this in the most surreal way, was Bastogne. So we went to Bastogne, and if you've ever seen the Band of Brothers episodes, I think they dedicated 2 two episodes, 2 full-length episodes to Bastogne, and that is just what they went through was incredible. And so we got to go to those spots where our men were trapped and surrounded, and it's just an incredible spot. In fact, the citizens of Bastogne are still thankful to this day. We had people thanking us. You know, there was a huge language barrier there, but they love us. They still love us there, and they still appreciate what we did for them there. It's absolutely incredible how deep, you know, those roots go. So that was a really cool, really surreal place to visit. Really awesome. We also got lost one time on our weekend liberty, actually driving back, trying to find base, and we stumbled upon a Big Red 1 memorial site. To this day, I don't know where we were. It was out in the middle of nowhere. It was just a tank with some plaques and some names, and I don't know where we were, or where that monument is, but it was just really cool. We stumbled upon it, and that was just a really cool experience.
Now, we're actually running out of time here, but I really want to thank you for coming on and for,
thanks for having me.
You know, for helping out the podcast, for promoting it, and you know, for just being a partner with the show. And I'm glad we actually had to get you, we're able to get you on the show here.
Yeah, likewise, yeah.
And so, guys, remember, before I end the episode here, make sure you go check out Lox on Instagram. The name's very simple, LOX, but it's LOX Hair Wax. Obviously, you should know how to spell hair wax. Most of you who listen to the show are 18. So it's your Hair Wax Co. So go check them out on Instagram. I'm going to link their website to the podcast. I'll link the Instagram to the podcast, or the podcast wherever you listen to it. And then go check out my merch. It's why am I forgetting the name? Teespring. You go check out Teespring's website. Look up the Chase and Show. It'll all be there. Link will be in the bio of the episode. And with that, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. And we got a big episode hopefully coming up next week, and
awesome.
Hear you next time.